Hi, I'm Meghan Willis. I'm 16 years old, and I'm a para-swimmer from South Wales. I represent Swim Wales and Great Britain. I started, next slide. I started at the age of 3, my mum just got me into swimming lessons, as you do, and I think the fact that I was missing my hand kind of made it more important to get in, so I was safe, not only in the pool with my friends, but if we went on holiday and things like that. So yeah, I got classified, I'll start before that. I went into swimming lessons, really enjoyed myself. I think it was around the age of 8 or 9 that I think I started to notice the difference between me and other kids in swimming classes, whether it was the fact that I couldn't do something the same way they could, or whether it was just the fact that, they had 2 hands and I didn't. And it kind of progressed from there. At the age of 9 then, I got selected. I got approached by one of the coaches from my club, which I'm still at now, actually, from Torfaen, and I started doing swimming, for a club. It wasn't long after that I got approached by a woman at Swim Wales, and I got classified down in Sunderland with my coach Leighton, who still coaches me now. It was my first competition as a para-swimmer, and for me it was amazing to see other kids, with disabilities like myself, but more. And I think it was different from a reach aspect, is whilst this is great and you get to see other kids with upper limb differences, it was amazing to see a range of even more. And I think at the age of 9, I really had to grow up a bit and be more independent in myself with going away. Moving on. Sorry. Is there a certain way I have to?
Press the green button.
Yeah.
It's going to whiz through.
There you go. At the age of 10 then, I got selected for the British Swimming Academy squad, which is no longer there, but at the time was amazing, and I think it was scary for my mum and dad having to let me go off to Manchester by myself. I had to make loads of new friends and be able to look after myself and be aware of the things I could and couldn't do. I don't know about you, Claire, but it was a scary time, and I think it's really hard to explain how you feel at such a young age, having to go away. And for me, it was normal. For me, it was okay to go weekends without my mum and my dad and having to be with coaches and swimmers who were a lot older than me. But then obviously you forget that I was in year 7 in comp, and my friends had never done that. Most of them hadn't really had sleepovers on their own. So I don't know about you, but it was nerve-wracking. But
absolutely.
Do you?
No, it's funny seeing Meg from years and years ago when you were this little girl, and then seeing you yesterday for the first time, and I was like, wow, how have you developed into such a mature girl who's so articulate about what you've achieved and what you're wanting to go on and do. And I think seeing you at the Commonwealth Games was just incredible. I've obviously followed your journey. Yeah, you go on to talk about that before I
No.
steal your story.
Yeah, I think that leads me perfectly on to the next bit. I think the major difference for me was that 2022 Birmingham Commonwealth Games. I think that was the point where, yes, I'd had to grow up quickly, but then I had to grow up even more. You're on a world stage, and I felt like it was a lot of pressure for me to do well and to show younger kids out there that, even at 14, you can do something and you can, make a difference and make a change. It was a difficult year. 2022 was. Leading up to the games, I changed from an S9 to an S10, and it was kind of like a kick in the teeth, because it was as if they were saying I was less disabled than I already was now, which it was a struggle, I think, mentally for me to get over, because it's the kind of age where you notice, at 14 I was noticing that, I was a lot different to other kids my age, and I think because I'd been brought up to not be worried about it, that I was the same as everyone else. We hadn't really put a label on it. My mum and dad were really good at forcing me to be independent and to do things myself. And obviously, para-swimming brought that out of me. And I'm really thankful for that, because I think it's opened me up to so many opportunities and made me more confident and more comfortable in myself as a person. But yeah, so Commonwealth was a really hard time, but a really great one at the same time. I obviously went, did really well. I was really happy. It was amazing to be with so many other athletes, like Tony Shaw next to me, who for me at the time, when I first started at the age of 10, she was somebody like Claire who I really looked up to and I really wanted to be when I grew up. So the fact I was racing next to her was amazing. It was kind of nerve-wracking, but at the same time, really, again, really, really cool. I think after Commonwealth Games, I really struggled with kind of coming down from this big high. I think, as my mum would say, my head got pretty big. I think I thought that, because I'd been able to do it all so well. Sorry, Mum, you didn't say that, but I think I'd got up there, and because I'd been able to do it all so easy, I was at the age where I was PBing, doing really well. As you know, Claire, when you're younger, it comes so easy. And I think after that, I'd got ill with glandular fever. I'd been in and out of the pool, and it was really a mental struggle of, did I still want to swim? Did I still want to do it? Did I want to, put all my time and my effort and miss other things in life, which, it is hard. But yeah, so, well, for example, my IM, I haven't PB'd or done any better for 2 years now, which is frustrating, but it's a process. And I think this is the thing that I hope younger kids can take away from what I'm saying, or my journey, and maybe Claire might empathise with, is the fact that it's gonna be up, but it's not always up. I don't know if that makes sense.
Yeah, you have the dip.
Yeah, and it's great, and the opportunities you get within sport as a whole, not just swimming, with anything you do in life. And I think having a disability it gives you more opportunities than you expect. I think people usually, expect it to limit you and that you only can do certain things, whereas I've always found that the fact I have a disability has given me so many more opportunities to do stuff, to speak to people, to meet new people, to go, perfectly on to the next slide, go different places like Turkey and Italy and Berlin and Limoges, and racing at these different places and meeting all these new different people has been amazing. And I think I've been really lucky to have been good in a sport and been so dedicated, which I thank my mum and my dad for, having that perseverance. And I think you'll find with any reach child, or any child with a disability really, we have that determination and that resilience that some other kids might not have. And I think that's all part of growing up, and where it's brought me to be as a person now. I find that I'm a lot more dedicated and more, I feel like I have more to give, and I feel like I always need to push myself a lot more than maybe some of my peers who are able-bodied. But yeah, I think the experiences I've had, and looking back on it, even though I'm not at the level you're at, Claire, I think the amount I've achieved, I'm proud of myself. And I think sometimes I don't give myself enough credit as I should. Leading on to the next slide, recently I've been able to go to loads of different things, especially within Sport Wales and Swim Wales. I've been really lucky that they want to have me, and I've been recognised as somebody. they like to invite to all their new strategies, and I speak a lot, and it is hard, and I might come across as quite confident, but I'm nervous inside and I'm shaking like mad. And I think I was a bit nervous today to speak in front of everyone, because I'm so used to speaking in front of panels or like swimming things, that when it comes to actually talking about life and daily life, or just struggles in general with having a disability, I'm not really used to speaking about it, so I am a bit nervous. So sorry if it's all a bit hectic. But no, yeah, I think the main thing I've realised, and the main thing I think parents should take away from it, is that, like Reach says, and I've always used this quote, it's ability, not disability, that matters. And I live by that. I think that your ability shouldn't, be who you are. It's definitely not who I am. It's something that is there, yes. I don't notice it, and I think you should notice it and should embrace it a lot more. And I think that is something, I don't know, I don't really know where I'm going with this.
Doesn't define you.
Yeah. But no, I think I've grown up not really paying much attention to it, but the more I go up and the more that I do, I'm grateful that, I am the way I am, and it's brought me to where I am and the people I've met, like you, Claire, and the fact that I've been able to, sit here with you now is crazy. I think 10-year-old me would be freaking out right now, and she'd be fangirling, so. But yeah, that's all I've got to say.
I think. You need to give yourself a lot more credit than you've given yourself there. That was brilliant. And at the age of 16, to be able to stand up in front of all these people and say what you just said is amazing. And you say, I haven't achieved as much. I mean, you're 16 years of age. You've done so much. To go to the Commonwealth Games at the age of 14 is just incredible. Yeah. You obviously mentioned that, there were times that were quite tough. And what would you say is like the biggest bit of advice? Like, obviously, probably coming to terms with your disability, and also I'm sure there's been times that are tough in swimming. It's hard.
Yeah.
You go through that constant progression of always PBing, getting personal best, improving, and then suddenly it's like, no, you don't. And what would you say is the biggest bit of advice that you could give to people?
I would say the biggest bit of advice is, 1, don't doubt yourself, and 2, don't let anyone tell you can't do it. There's always a way around it. There's always, you can do it. Don't let anyone define what you're capable of. I think that's my biggest takeaway.
That is perfectly spot on. I think it's so true. There's always going to be doubters. There's always going to be people that try to put limits on you, and people that often it's jealousy. They are jealous of what you're achieving, and they'll try and make you think that you can't. So go against that. What about to your parents, to the parents in this room that, might have budding young swimmers or kids that want to become athletes? What would you say is the biggest bit of advice? You've got incredible family support, and I, I've known them for a long time, and I know what they've done for you is brilliant. So what would you say to other parents out there?
I would say, let your kids do it their own way. Don't push. Don't put too much pressure, and I think that's the one thing I've been really thankful for, is I've never put pressure on myself, which I think in swimming definitely, and in sport as a whole, is if you put the pressure there and the minute you don't enjoy it, that's the minute you lose it all. And I think you just have to do what's best for you and what feels right, and just let your kid flourish in this sport by themselves, and they'll figure it out.
Yeah, I agree. I remember my mum saying to me, she's like, I'm not going to get you up for swimming in the morning. If you want to go, you get us up.
Yeah,
there's never been a point which I think is really important, because you don't want to live your dream for your child. Your child, if they want to do something, they will show you and they will get there and find ways around. So
Yeah.
I think
it teaches you that life skill as well, is to, you have to be responsible for yourself. You can't always have your parents there. And I think especially as a child with a disability, you have to be more, I don't know, what's the word, like...
resilient,
and independent, and it's hard anyway, but I think the fact that, sport is there to give you such a grounding as a person, and it makes you really see things differently, I think, to how maybe other people might.
Absolutely. Right, I'll stop, because I could keep asking you questions for ages, but I think I should go to the floor and ask. So is there any advice you'd give to a young child learning to swim with upper limb difference, e.g. our daughter who struggles with front crawl breathing?
It's really hard. I think because I've never really thought of myself, as being disabled when I'm swimming. I kind of just get in, I do it, I train with able-bodied swimmers. I'm very much integrated in that program. So I think it's kind of just, they'll figure it out by themselves. It's going to be difficult, but I think definitely speak to coaches and any staff and support you have, because my coaches especially have been really good. I've got an S&C coach who, he went away and he researched all different ways I'd be able to lift weights and work with bars, and I have different straps and adaptations to help with that. But I think, definitely use your support system around you to help with that.
And I'd also add to that, I think actually as a kid it's so hard to breathe. It's probably one of the hardest skills to do anyway. So it might not even be their limb difference. It might just be the fact that they're struggling with that skill at that stage. And actually just going right back to the basics of, I don't know how old your child is, and feel free to come up afterwards, but, going back to actually being with a kickboard and turning your head. But like I know my nephews who have 2 arms and 2 legs cannot do it, and they're still trying, and it's just something that just takes practice and it takes time to get to. So just keep persisting, and I think, like Meg said, just use the people around you and try and educate them. You'll often find your kid will actually find the way of doing it, and I think we probably both did the same thing.
Yeah, definitely.
And it's funny when you go into schools and they're like, oh, how do you swim with 1 arm? And I'm like, well, how do you swim with 2 arms? I don't blooming know.
I get that now from my friends, and they're like, do you use them both? Do you not use the arm? And I'm like, just watch a video.
Or why do you not go in circles? Like, no, it's not like, a canoe or something. You are such a great role model for your swim achievements, but even more so for the thoughtful, brave, kind, mature, kind person you are. And a young person, sorry, kind as well. I'll add in kind. But no, I 100% agree with that. What's your advice to parents for the best way to support your kids when they fail or find things hard due to their limb difference?
I think just help them with whatever they're struggling with. Because I think as a kid myself, I know that there's things that I've struggled with that I might not tell my mum or my dad, or there's ways that you look at things, and there are things you keep to yourself. And I think, just support them and be there for them with whatever they're struggling with. And, I think that's all I can really say.
Perfect. I've got one more. So what's next? Is it LA? Is that the...
Hopefully, that is the goal.
Yeah.
Just got to get back into it now and kind of find a ground where I'm training hard and I'm working hard, and I think I've kind of sorted myself out a bit. I want that, and that's what I want, especially after watching you in Paris and watching all the Paralympians. I now know that is what I want. So
be on the team together.
Hopefully, yes.
Oh, we've got 52 more seconds. 51. Right. One more question then. Commonwealths, how incredible was it walking out of that door?
God. Amazing. I think I was expecting to be a lot more nervous and a lot more scared than I actually was. I walked out and I was like, oh, okay, there's a lot of people, but I think it's the atmosphere and everything combined. It kind of lifts you up into somewhere, that, I'd never felt before. And it was amazing. It was brilliant. And it was great to represent Wales. Just wanted to put that out there.
And I think at home games as well, it's incredible.
Definitely.
But no, you have been amazing, and it's so good to watch you flourish from this little girl to how you are now. So thank you. It's been amazing to be part of your journey and see you develop. Thanks.